Hello and welcome to part 6 of SE 310 Innoslate tutorials. I'm Lieutenant Lou and today I'll be taking you through traceability matrices. So far as we've gone through every step of the SE process, we've made sure to maintain traceability throughout each step. So as you can see in this tree here that you should be very familiar with by now, we have made sure that through all of our 4 parts, we have documented in our Innoslate database these links like source of, satisfied by, performed by, etc. And so with your traceability matrix, you're going to be able to get a visual of the traceability within your own specific system and traceability for each of your specific requirements, components, functions, etc. And so as you can see here, for example, we have requirements of this example system over here on the left, and then it looks like different functions that these requirements will satisfy, and you can see that this matrix has areas where there are relationships. In this case, it would be satisfied by or satisfied relation or satisfies relationships x'd out. And so in Innoslate, you're going to be able to both view the relationships that you've created so far, and you're also going to be able to create relationships directly in this traceability matrix. So in order to view your matrix on Innoslate, let's go over to Database. And let's filter by requirement over on the left pane here. Okay. And so from there, we can go over to Matrix over on the top. And so here, right now, you can just see your various requirements over on the left pane. Let's select the top, or x-axis as they call it, to be related. Okay, and for the relationship type, since we're doing requirements, let's do satisfied by. It should pop up once you start typing it. Okay, and here we have a very preliminary part of our matrix. Remember, this will just show the relationships that you have already created in Innoslate. So for example here, we have requirement R1, provide exercise equipment, that is satisfied by 1.1, provide exercise equipment. And if we go down, looks like we have here our 2 occupancy limits is satisfied, at least in part, by this function, 1.5, register clients. And that's one thing to keep in mind is that obviously register clients does not satisfy the complete requirement of occupancy limits. So when you are creating traceability, and documenting that in your matrix, you should remember that it is possible to have multiple functions or whatever is over here on this x-axis to satisfy or perform whatever is over on this left pane here, and also vice versa. You can have, in this example, multiple requirements that are possibly even satisfied by just one function. However, that is a little bit less likely. Okay, so now that we have our traceability matrix set up, let's actually use it in order to add some relationships. So in this matrix, I'm going to be adding relationships between my requirements and my functions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a column, and these columns are going to represent our functions in the case of this matrix. So I'm going to add 1.4, provide resident discount. That is my function. And we can actually add multiple columns at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1.4.1. That is my log resident discount. I'm going to add it. Okay, so now these 2 functions are in my matrix. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a relationship providing traceability between my functions and my requirements. So you can see here we have requirement 10, resident discount, and I'm going to say that that requirement is satisfied by 1.4, provide a resident discount, And I'm going to say that it's also at least in part satisfied by 1.4.1. And I'm going to do the same for resident subscription, this requirement right here. If you click on that requirement, you can see what it is in the description. So I'm just going to click on the box. And it's as simple as that. Now those relationships are marked in my database, and if I want to get rid of a relationship, I can just unclick it. It's as simple as that. Okay, so you're going to keep doing this process until you have all of your traceability as you desire for your system. So let's just say that I'm at a good stopping point now. Make sure to click save so that all of this stuff actually saves into your database. And now we can see if we click on R10, that requirement that we just added traceability to. Let's open it. Okay, you see that traceability is now in the database. This requirement is satisfied by action 1.4 and 1.4.1. Okay. In order to create a matrix relating your assets and your actions, so I just showed you how to create a matrix relating your actions and your requirements. So if you want to do that for your actions and your assets, go to your database and filter by your action class. Okay, so this is where all of your actions are going to be, and same as before, go to matrix. Okay, and so once again, let's sort by related for your x-axis, and for relationship type, since we are doing actions and assets, we're going to do performed by. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, it doesn't look like I have very much in my database when it comes to traceability between my actions and my assets. So same as before, I can add a column, and let's add my asset that is my computer system for my system. Okay, let's add that column there. So now you can see that column is there, and I am going to say that that computer system performs the functions logging my residence discounts and registering clients. Okay, so same as before, you just click on the boxes in order to create a relationship. If you want to not create it, you just X out of it, and it's as simple as that. Now in order to make sure that it saves to your database, just always remember to click save. Okay, so let's see that these actions now have that traceability added into it. And you can see, yes, this function right here is performed by your asset of, or my asset of the computer system. Okay, so let's say that you have completely populated your matrix and you want to export it so that you can put it in your PDR. So let us first make sure to scroll down all the way down to the bottom of your requirements. In the case of a requirements traceability matrix, Innoslate has a slight glitch where if you don't scroll all the way down, there's not always a guarantee that all of your rows are going to show up. So just make sure to scroll all the way down and then go to your relationship type for requirements. We want to do satisfied by. Okay, so let's just say that this is your entire matrix. Your matrix will probably be a lot bigger, but let's just say that you want to export it. So let's just go to reports. And then usually you'll want to export it as an Excel document. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so now it will have downloaded your report. You can save it on your computer to whatever name you find appropriate. Okay, so now your traceability matrix will be over here in an Excel, and you can go ahead and copy and paste this matrix for use in your PDR.